Forced to work from home by your employer? Laid off or feeling depressed at home? Do you want to make money working from anywhere? We'll show you how to do it from your couch. It's time for another episode of the Work From Home Show. Coming to you from their homes in Austin, Texas and Tampa, Florida, here are your hosts, Adam and Naresh.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Work From Home Show. I'm Naresh Vissa with Adam Schrader, and we have Sharon Daniels on the show. She is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Arria NLG, one of the pioneering companies in the world of AI, artificial intelligence, for automatic text generation. There's a lot in the tech world happening, especially in 2020, because of the recession, the work from home environment, the pandemic, and artificial intelligence really is the future, and it's coming sooner than you think. So Sharon, welcome to the Work From Home Show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Let's start the discussion by talking about AI and kind of what I said in the intro. How quickly can we see AI actually change the way that people work? And do you think it's going to be massively adopted?
Well, I guess I'll start by defining what AI is, and rather than just one big term that many things fall underneath. So artificial intelligence is made up of many things, not one thing. And as it relates to Arya, one form of artificial intelligence is natural language generation, or the natural language technologies that replicate the way humans analyze data and turn that data into insightful narratives or information to take action upon, which is used in the everyday world, business world, and also in many cases there's data throughout your everyday life. And so going back to artificial intelligence being implemented and where we are, it's happening all around us already. So it's as we roll out new technology capabilities and we're able to automate many things that we do as human beings, it's actually a way to do more with less. So particularly now when resources are scarce and we have to be more efficient with our resources and our cost savings, operational efficiencies, but probably more so relevant to our current times is the issue that so much has changed and in such a fast pace. So when there's a lot of change in business, you need to understand what those changes are, number one, and what's driving them, and what you can do to not only understand but mitigate risk or take advantage of some of the things that are impacting that change. So if I come back to data, which is what Arya's technology is all about, and we talk specifically around this particular wedge of artificial intelligence, there's just so much data out there that it becomes incomprehensible for an individual to decipher or to sift through all the data static to get to those nuggets of insights so you can take action and impact your business, or just have a level of understanding of where you are. And so the technology that Arya delivers is basically does just that. It turns data into written narrative, and that's helping individuals to get through the data and the information contained within the data very quickly. And it's done at a machine speed and scale that a human being just could not do. So in this case, that's where artificial intelligence becomes, a capability that it allows you to do things you just could never do otherwise.
Now, when it comes to this kind of artificial intelligence, are there specific sectors that you find benefit the most from it, or is it something that you can see applying pretty well to any sector?
In artificial intelligence with regards to data analysis specifically is very broad. It crosses over anywhere there's data, there's a need for an understanding of that data. at a speed that you can take action. You want to either, whether it's a competitive advantage or to save costs or to increase revenue, right? So it spans. I mean, we have everybody from, quick serve restaurants where there's a business, a franchise might be, there's a lot of data. They're operating on thin margins. And so having your finger on the pulse of what's happening in real time can impact your day-to-day business and ultimately, your monthly results or your bonus. To go from let's say pizza to pregnancy ultrasounds, right? So an ultrasound is filled with data, and right now radiologists have to take the time to interpret that data, write the report, and deliver that information. Well, Arya's technology can turn data into written narratives literally in seconds to help automate the process and speed up the information to the patient. So in this case, think about what that means to a human being, right? So I don't have to wait 2 weeks in a state of worry or concern while I'm waiting for my radiologist or my doctor to give me that information. With artificial intelligence, like natural language generation, you can then empower a patient with information immediately rather than weeks later. In the business world, it's used right now. It has been. We've implemented our technology, Arya's technology, across Fortune 500 companies. In many cases, the entry path in is the obvious place: financial reporting or enterprise reporting, sales reports, expense reports, P&L, cash flow, balance sheet. Wherever there's a lot of data and you need to get the insights and the information, number one, identified, and then ultimately understood and communicated out throughout the organization. So speed to information is critical in just about any form of business. When there's a lot of data, it's the new way. You just do not have to wait to understand what your data has, the value that is contained within data any longer.
Sharon, let's backtrack a little bit and talk about Arya. So what is Arya? How long has the company been around? And just tell us a little more information about what you guys do.
Sure. Arya is, we specialize in natural language technologies. We started in 2011. We were introduced, myself and my partners actually were very fortunate to meet the founding scientists of natural language generation. And they were out of Aberdeen, Scotland. And when we met them, we realized they had one of the breakthrough technologies that we had ever, certainly one of the most amazing technologies that we had ever seen. And so we started in 2011, which was very early on, and went through the journey of doing a lot of professional services with leaders and innovators that were first to market. And we transitioned to taking our professional service and our core technology and transitioning that into a tool that we could use to accelerate the build of natural language generation capabilities, as well as make this tool available to our partners. So we have our current business model is we have a tool, but we also have what we call out-of-the-box natural language, what we call intelligent narrative capabilities for the key business intelligence platforms, RPA. We have an integration with UiPath, Microsoft Power BI, Tableau, MicroStrategy, TIBCO, and other BI dashboards, as well as the ability to generate narratives, turning data into written narratives, either summaries or full comprehensive reports, literally on the fly. So that's been our journey. We're a global organization. We have our development center is in Aberdeen, Scotland. We have another center in Sydney, Australia, and we have sales teams across the globe, and I'm in New Jersey.
So what is the kind of startup process for a business who's interested in working with y'all? Like, how much of a learning curve is there, and kind of what all do you have to tailor it to the industry that they're in, or is it just kind of a one size fits all, comes out of the box and everything's good to go?
That's a great question. So the fastest path to introducing NLG to your organization is identifying a high value use case where NLG really shines. And that means it's structured data. There's a lot of it. It's changing often. And the impact of having the insights quickly have high value, right? So that's sort of the criteria. And there are many use cases that we have that we apply the technology. But there's also generic, overarching capabilities that are universal, if you want to put it that way. And so what Arya's technology is at its core is we bring together advanced analytics coupled with advanced linguistics together into our algorithms, our tool and our software. So that combination is what enables Arya to generate very high quality narratives from data. And the analytics that are used to analyze sales data might be the same analytics that are used to analyze a franchise store or an ultrasound. So some of the core, to give you an example, you might have trend analysis, descriptive statistics, correlations, variance by time, variance by, et cetera, right? So variance analysis. So there's core analysis that any data analyst does, regardless of what data they're looking at. And then it's a matter of having the linguistic capabilities to communicate the analysis in words that can be quickly and clearly communicated to either for yourself to understand and read through, or to deliver out across the enterprise. So that's to answer your question. There's use cases, and we to get going quickly. We have a process where we help people identify the most valuable use case, and then as far as does it work across many broad industry categories, the answer is absolutely yes. It certainly does.
So when you're looking at these reports, do they read, like if you did a scientific one, for example, does it read as boring as most scientific papers does, or is it something that the average person could read and actually go like, oh, okay, I understand that? Like how technical are we talking? Because I know a lot of researchers don't really love the converting data into words. They like researching and figuring out what it does, but not always the actual written part. So how colloquial is it in terms of the reports that it gives out?
Well, because we are capturing the subject matter expertise of your best professional, depending on the type of report you want to turn data to narrative, it can be as advanced as you want it to be. So, and typically if you're doing a financial report, it's going to have the same lingo and language that your financial expert would typically include in a report. If it's medical information, it will include medical jargon. So it's going to be native to the industry vertical that you are applying the technology to. With that said, because we have the flexibility to customize the narratives however you choose, you can adjust that same narrative to the relevant audience. So a great example is if you have medical information, a doctor report, he's going to want all of the medical jargon and he understands that information. But if you take that same data and you adjust the way the narrative is output to the patient, it's going to be much less technical, and it's going to basically cut right to the chase and tell you, am I okay? What are the results? What should I do next, et cetera. So the capability of being able to alter the narrative relevant and in context to the recipient of that report is really where it's all at. And that's what our technology allows you to do.
Can you tell us far as language goes, I've always wondered, this is just kind of a random question. I've always wondered, will there be a technology in the future that uses artificial intelligence so that we can get rid of language barriers? That way we don't need to learn foreign languages. Are there AI tools being developed to mitigate foreign language barriers? And I ask because your company deals with language and automatic text generation.
Absolutely. And I think it's already here. Not I think, it is here now. So what's interesting, and I'll bring it back to what Arya specializes in. So we're turning data into language. Data happens to be universal, so it doesn't have any particular language tied to it when you start. So, but there's that information within the data then needs to be communicated out so people can understand it and take action. So when you're starting with a universal language of data, it's the same analytics that get applied, and then the linguistics can be done in any language whatsoever. So that is what we do today. And so as far as removing the language barrier as it pertains to data, data is the perfect place to start because it is universal. Everybody looks at data for the most part, as in one way, and it's a matter of how you communicate the insights within the data that is the output or the language of choice. So removing the language barriers, I think that it's language interpretation or really interpretation. And if you have whether you want to report in English or French or German, Italian, Spanish, that technology is here now.
So what's the future for natural language generation and other AI similar to what y'all are doing?
The future is being able to ask your data a question with your spoken word, and the data delivers the answer.
So you can have like a conversation with your numbers?
You're having a conversation with your data. That's right. So Arya, actually, we just released something that really delivers that capability, and we'll be developing much further capabilities as we progress forward. But you can ask your data a question. You can type in a question, and with multi-turn drill down, you get the answer. Or using Arya plus Amazon Alexa, you can ask your data a question, and it's doing the same thing as typing it in, but you get the answer back in the spoken word. So think about driving down the street. You've got your mobile phone, and you want to know on your way to your next appointment, or while you're on a walk, how are sales doing today? And you'll get that response directly back. And it's doing the same thing through the algorithms. It's going in, analyzing the data, the words are generated, then the natural language narratives are generated, and then the text-to-speech capabilities of NLP and some NLU kick in. So other natural language technologies are brought together to deliver that experience.
Sharon, tying all of this into the work from home movement, the work from home economy, how do you anticipate that artificial intelligence is going to merge with the idea of remote work?
Well, I think what we're finding now is, especially, there's more and more need, specifically not all being together in one location for information. So you're not walking down the hall and talking to somebody. So the ability to have better, faster reporting on information is critical now more than ever. So I think that's really going to have a key, that's a key driver right now with everybody at home, not being able to walk down the hall, as readily as you could otherwise. I mean, we can interact through video conference, but information flow is key, and artificial intelligence helps that information flow while we are all in our own silos at home to a large degree.
Great. Well, that's Sharon Daniels, founder, chairman, and CEO of Arria NLG, one of the pioneering companies in the space of artificial intelligence for automatic text generation. The website is Arya.com. That's not Arya, the resort in Vegas, which is ARIA. This is ARRIA, two R's, ARRIA.com, Arya.com. Sharon, any final thoughts you want to share with our listeners, or anything else you want to promote?
Well, thank you. I think that everyone should know artificial intelligence is here now. It's not something in the future. It's actually all around us. There's many capabilities even in your smartphone today. And I would encourage the listeners not to be afraid of it. It's helping us to be a smarter world, and for us to know more and be more as individuals.
Great. Sharon Daniels, thanks so much for joining us on the Work From Home Show. To all our listeners, visit our website, www.workfromhomeshow.com. That's workfromhomeshow.com. Email us hello@workfromhomeshow.com. hello@workfromhomeshow.com. If you have any questions or comments, leave us a review on any of the podcasting providers that you might use: Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, etc. And until next time, keep on working from home.